Hey guys, what's up? My name is Chris and welcome back to another YouTube video. Just wanted to say before I get into today's topic of today's video, thank you to everyone that left a comment and said really nice things and watched my first YouTube video. It really means a lot and it's encouraged me to continue to make more. So in today's video, I wanted to talk around actually having money and saving money to invest into the stock market. So I think one thing that I've been sort of not struggling with but sort of thinking about a lot investing into the market is making sure that I actually have money that I can actually invest. I think it's so easy for people to say like invest in the stock market, put your money in there, you know, you'll get 6% return year on year and by the time you're 50 you'll have millions and millions of pounds. But actually when you're looking at it from a young person's perspective, like for me, like in my early 20s, how do I make sure that I have spare money that I don't need that I can actually invest into the market? And I think there's a sort of thing that young people think about is making sure that they, once they get that money, they spend it and making not really sort of life decisions, thinking about like pensions and thinking about retirement funds or investing in the market. That kind of goes away and people aren't really thinking about that. And so actually when you're a young person and you're wanting to invest in the market but you haven't got that money, or even when you're slightly older and you still don't have that money, you have to kind of think about the ways in which you can achieve that. And so in today's video I want to go over 3 tips or 3 things that you can do to make sure that you have some money left over each month that you can save and invest wisely, whether that is into the market or other ways. So the first tip that I want to cover is about actually living below thy means. So a lot of investor books that I've been reading and a lot of educational content that I've been reading has been talking about making sure to live below thy actual value of the money that you get each month. So to give you an example of that, let's just say we've got a guy called Tim who has £25,000 a year. And he takes home £1,800. So I'm not, for the purpose of the example, I'm not going to be taking anything into like tax or pension contributions or anything like that. But let's just say he has £1,800 a month. And so he obviously has a house, he has a car, he has bills to pay, he goes out each month, he sees his friends, he socialises, and that £1,800 is spent quite easily every month. So, you know, when you're talking about actually having money to invest, in this scenario, this person, Tim, doesn't have any spare money to invest into the market or even save. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in that predicament who are living paycheck to paycheck, living above what they actually earn, and sometimes maybe even spending more than they earn, putting them on credit cards, racking up debt, and living a lifestyle that's actually doesn't back up what they actually earn. And I think in today's society, you know, we see things on social media, people want to kind of make sure they have these lavish lifestyles and are being successful, so they have the nice car, they have the holidays each year, they have a nice house, and actually their earnings don't match that. And so actually from a savings perspective and actually investing into the market, we have to be having that conversation with ourselves and saying, actually, do I need to have these things in my life? Or actually, can I save a bit of money at end of each month or end of each year and be investing in that into the market? And so it actually goes back before even deciding to invest in the market and talking about ETFs and your strategy and actually what app you're going to use. But actually, how do I make sure that I have money each month that I can actually invest into the market? So tip number 1 is live below thy means. So that example, Tim uses up each and every penny of his salary that he has each and every month, meaning that he has no spare cash to invest in the market or think about ways that he can build his net worth. So what you have to do and what we have to look at is actually all the expenses and all the liabilities that we have and making sure that you remove some of those so that some of that cash that you get from your salary can be saved and can be invested. So for example, if you're driving around in a Mercedes or a really nice car that you're having finance, could you look at maybe a cheaper option? So a cheaper car that's slightly less each month and allows you to save a little bit more of your salary. Is your house or your apartment, could you downsize? Is there somewhere where you could live that's a little less extravagant, maybe a less bedroom, maybe a less of a double garage or whatever, but a way that you can live below thy means, reduce your outgoings and making sure that you can save. And those two examples I've given there are big things, okay? So your car, your mode of transport and a house. But it's actually the small things that we don't sometimes think about and don't sort of realise that adds up each month. So things like your Netflix subscription, your Spotify subscription, or the coffee that you get from Starbucks every morning on your way to work. It's those small things that add up, the actual sort of like the £5 to £10 things that we see on our bank statements each month and go, okay, don't worry about that. It's a small amount of money that you're not going to worry about. But actually, it's those kind of things that really add up and could add up to sort of being sort of 20 to 30 to even £50 a month. And when you think about it like that, it's a lot of money to be kind of wasting each year. That's sort of £500 to £600 that you could be saving and could be investing into the market. You know, if we invested £600 into the market today, in 40 years, when we get to retirement and thinking about our investing, that £600 is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 10x that value. And so actually thinking about the small things that we're spending our money on now can make a big difference to when we're investing. So those kind of things, can we look at kind of living below that means, can we save some money? Can we stop sort of spending things on liabilities or nights out or going to nice restaurants? And I think that's some of the sacrifice that you have to make now as a younger person, or you know, into your 30s or 40s or whatever, to be able to make sure that you can set yourself up for retirement and set yourself up to be able to invest in that market. And so that would be tip number one that I'd give, is live below thy means. Look at things that you spend each month and think, actually, can I cut back on this? I think with everything that's been going on in the last sort of 3 or 4 months with the virus and that, people haven't been going out. So people have been noticing and realising all the money that they've been saving, not spending it on discretional things like going out to bars and restaurants and spending it on things like that. And so I would urge people who are thinking about investing or don't have any money to invest in the market, or have giving that excuse of like, I have no reason to invest, thinking about that money that you're saving and how can you make the best out of that by investing. So tip number 2 that I would give is making sure that you think about extra income. So, okay, let's just say you've saved all the money that you could, you've cancelled your Netflix, you've stopped buying that coffee, you've got a less of a car, or whatever you've done, but you still, for whatever reason, can't seem to save £200 to £300 or even less to put aside to invest it into the market. Okay, that's fine. So what you need to do, if you can't save that money, is look at ways in which you can increase your income. So your monthly income or the money that you make. And there's loads of ways that you can do that. Obviously there's the side hustles, and you could sell online or set up your own business, or you know, cut the grass for your neighbour, or do sort of other handyman kind of things for other people to increase cash, which is fine, and I would recommend that. I think I've done it in the past where I've done little side things, side little jobs to kind of increase my income so I can have a little bit of extra cash. But actually, sometimes it is as simple as looking around your own home and thinking about things that you don't no longer need. So we're all guilty of this, and we've all bought things on impulse that we wanted at the time, we've used it for a bit, we've realised actually it's not something that I want, and then it's been sat in a cupboard, sat in a drawer, sat in the garage or wherever, and it's just collecting dust and it's of no value to us anymore. But actually, if we think about it, going around our house thinking of those things, I'm certain we can think of 3 to 5 to 10 things that we could sell, that we could get rid of via eBay, via Facebook Marketplace, all these kind of places that allow us to get some money back. I mean, we've all got things like, for example, a rowing machine. We've all had that sort of fitness sort of moment where we bought a rowing machine, we've used it a few times and it's sat in the garage. I'm saying what we can do is, if we don't need that item anymore and we've not used it for 3 to 6 months and it's just sitting there, we should think about selling it to someone who wants it and needs it, and taking the money that we get from it, collecting a fund, and then being able to use that to invest in the market. So I've done this before, and I still continue to do this now. For example, I am big into sort of clothing and buy clothes quite regular. But what I've now decided to do is make sure to sell clothes that I no longer want, that just sit in my wardrobe and I've never worn for ages. So what I do is I sell them on a very popular app in the UK called Depop, which is similar to kind of like Instagram and eBay, but essentially it's a resale platform where you can sort of sell on unused items or unwanted items, like for clothing and stuff. So for the last sort of 3 to 6 months, with a combination of selling on eBay and stuff that I no longer want, I've been able to kind of sell things that I don't need anymore and be able to collect a small sort of fund of a couple of £100, which I've then added into my Trading 212 account, and invested that money into sort of ETFs and regular different stocks. So there are ways that you can do it. You know, if you cut back your spend on sort of discretionary things like coffees and things like that, and your subscriptions, alongside saving money by or getting extra income by selling things around your house that you no longer need, there's ways that you can create a little bit of extra money that you can then invest into the market. And as well, on top of that, I think if you were looking at things to invest in, if you're one of those people that you think, okay, investing is a good idea, but I'm not really that keen on kind of looking into individual stocks or doing research or looking at balance sheets and all things like that, then simply just investing into an ETF is a great way of doing it. If you want to be a bit more of a passive investor, you want to sort of save a little bit of extra money and then invest that each month into an ETF, then that is a great way of doing it. I think as well, if you look at an ETF such as like the S&P 500, it trades on the market, so as of now I think about £47, £48. If you were to invest that into, to buy a share in Amazon for example, that would set you back $3,000. So actually that barrier to entry and making sure you can sort of buy that stock, and the ETF is a much cheaper option that gives you that diversity and allows you to invest even when you don't have a big sort of pot of cash or savings to invest in. And so ETFs is another way to do it as well, have that sort of diversity, but only investing money that you don't need, and only investing money at a smaller rate as well. And so there's sort of 3 things that you can sort of think about when you're thinking about investing, or have that sort of thought process of, oh, I'd like to invest, but I don't have any spare cash or any extra money that I can put aside to invest in. I'd also say there's a part of me that thinks if you are making some extra money on the side, and you're selling things on eBay, you're selling and you're getting some extra income, making sure to save a percentage of that. There's nothing like having a rainy day fund for things that crop up in life. But then, as I said, taking a larger percentage of that and being able to invest into the market when you don't have a massive amount of money. Again, it's not about timing the market, it's about being in the market. If you only invest sort of £50 to £100 each month consistently over a 40-year period, you'll thank yourself in 40 years time. Your future self will thank you. So hopefully this has been helpful. Again, I think sometimes it's about that mindset and putting your mind to it, and it's not all about sort of looking at balance sheets and Trading 212 app and thinking about that. It comes before that, making sure that you actually have money that you're willing to invest into the account. So hopefully that's been helpful. Hopefully I've given you some sort of tips and ideas of how you can save and get a bit of extra income. If you do have any questions or want me to give you some examples of the way I've been doing it, I'm more than happy to do so, and I can make a future video on that. Again, what I will plug, as I've always wanted to plug this, if you do want a free stock and you do want to join Trading 212, I will have a link down in the description, which is my Trading 212 sort of new user link. Essentially, if you click that link and you deposit £1 into your Trading 212 account, you'll get a free stock, I'll get a free stock, and we're all winning. Also, that stock could be up to £100 worth. So by the end of this video, by clicking that link, you could have a stock worth up to £100 and you could have started your Trading 212 journey. But other than that, please drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you'd like. I'm more than happy to kind of read your comments, and like I said from the first video, reading your comments and sort of getting into this sort of YouTube videos, replying to comments has been really, really fun. So like I said, drop a like, leave a comment, and I'll speak to you guys later. Peace.